Wonder Woman 1984 is bringing some surprises and new footage to DC fandom, but before that, I've got you covered with some updates from my time on the set. What's up, Comic Book Nation? Beatty here, and 2 years ago now, I visited the set of Wonder Woman 1984. For perspective, I visited this set the same weekend I visited the set of Spider-Man Far From Home.
That doesn't make sense.
One of these movies is already out on Blu-ray and is a thing of the past. The other is hopefully hitting theaters in early October, but in any case, this is why I take notes in my handy-dandy notebook. Oh, the things these pages have seen. If you could only read them, I would be so out of a job. But that's for when WB calls and says, all that awesome stuff you saw on set, you can talk about it now. So let's flip a page.
Let the games begin!
First of all, the movie is going to start in Themyscira. They built a huge set for the equivalent of the Amazon Olympic Games, and I got to walk through some of it. They really built some tall pillars for people to run across. It was wild. We're probably going to get some great looks into Diana's past and how she became the hero we know as Wonder Woman. As for Diana in the present, well, she's living in Washington, D.C., working at the Smithsonian Museum, and has actually been busy saving the world in all the time that has passed since the first Wonder Woman movie. She's just been doing it very quietly. Walking through Diana's apartment, which was not actually in DC, but on a soundstage in London, I got a look at how very 80s this movie is, because beside the photos of Steve Trevor and other memorabilia, Diana even has real cassette tapes on this set. It's all very cool. I'm gonna gush over it. Speaking of the 80s, director Patty Jenkins explained that this movie is set there for reasons much bigger than nostalgia and the fact that Stranger Things has proved it can be a very successful era in movies and television. She wanted to have this set before Justice League so a solo Wonder Woman movie could focus on Diana before the rest of the gang arrived, but also wanted to make a metaphor for today's world in a different time period. Very interesting when you consider the villain Max Lord. Pedro Pascal's Max Lord, he is very inspired by Donald Trump. As weird as this seems to be, director Patty Jenkins promises this is not aimed to make any political statements, but is more aimed at the type of person Trump represents, especially in the 80s. There were lots of photos of Trump in the costume design room, all in power suits, the back of limos, that kind of stuff. Not a huge surprise when you look at Max Lord's hair and suit in the trailer for this movie from December. Now, with the information that has come out since my time on set, I've grown pretty confident in a theory which would be a major twist in the movie if it turns out to be true. So I'm gonna go as far as saying spoiler warning for this next bit. On set, everyone referred to Pedro Pascal's character as the president of Black Gold. They wouldn't really go into many details about his powers or abilities, and only a couple of times even slipped and called him Max. But pairing what they did say with the footage from the trailers which have come out since I was on the set, it seems like Max Lord is very much responsible for bringing Steve Trevor back to life. Here's what I know. Something goes down in Egypt where Max Lord essentially unleashes his ability to give people exactly what they want in life for the first time. As that spreads throughout the world, greed starts to take over, and eventually Diana is going to have to make a choice between what she desires and what is right for the world. Her desire will probably be Steve Trevor, and I think he's going to be more of a projection of her memory and her own conscience in some way from what Max Lord is doing. Take a look at the moment from the trailer.
You know what you need to do.
Let's actually take a look at that one more time.
You know what you need to do.
Sure sounds like Diana might be talking to herself via imaginary Steve, and ultimately, she's going to have to decide between doing what's right for the world and losing Steve Trevor in the process. Whatever the case may be, Patty Jenkins says the story of Diana and Steve came to her about midway through production of the first Wonder Woman movie. Chris Pine wouldn't really say anything at all about Steve's return, just that everything is done in the best way possible, which is basically really actor speak for my media training taught me to say good things instead of leak spoilers. Good job, Chris. Then there's Barbara Ann Minerva, who will become Cheetah at some point, but we didn't get to see any of that on set. The full-on transformation is coming, and costume designer Lindy Hemming explains that at first, Kristen Wiig's character was going to be not so fashionable, representing a character who's a little bit lonely, but then she rocks some darker punk colors, complete with cheetah print hanging from her shoulders, so that's going to be an interesting payoff for sure. Speaking of Lindy Hemming and interesting payoffs, she also told me recently that the golden armor, which is adapted straight from the comics, was really built in its entirety.
In the comic books, it does have a very featured eagle. I mean, it obviously comes from the eagle, the American eagle, I suppose, probably as well, inspired originally. And, but I mean, I suppose you know that it's the most powerful protection armor that was worn by her mother originally, and somehow or other in the story, which I don't want to sort of give away, it ends up being with her in Washington. And so when she's really threatened by everything, she resorts to wearing the golden armor. And that was a fabulous challenge to design it.
If you have any questions or want to know more about my time on the set of Wonder Woman 1984, let me know in the comments or hit me up on Instagram anytime at BrandonDavisBD. For more details on everything I flew through in this video, including perspective on the invisible jet, how Pedro Pascal spoiled his role for a taxi driver in the UK, and thoughts on Wonder Woman 3 from 2018, in case those are still true, head over to Comicbook.com/DC. And you're going to want to watch DC Fandom on August 22nd. It is going to be epic. I'm BD. I'll see you there.